Hey everyone, welcome back to TruTrade podcast. This is podcast number 7, and we're going to talk about our Chartless, which is RipperOne AI. And so, Brian, tell us what's special about RipperOne AI.
Okay, so basically, RipperOne AI is not just a regular bot. A lot of people have this misconception that it's a bot with no chart, which is true, but it's much more than that. So it's not like we just took a bot, took the chart off of it, and made a separate bot with no chart, and that's all it is. So the main reason why we made this product was for risk management. Most traders don't know how to manage risk. They don't know how to control the number of contracts, the number of instruments, and run a cohesive portfolio and make everything make sense from risk management perspective. So what we basically did here was we introduced RipperOne AI, which has no chart because it does not need one. So that's first and foremost. We took the chart off. It's just less complexity, less to manage, less to deal with, because the average trader does not need to deal with things they don't know how to manage, essentially. So what we've done instead of that is create what's called a multiplier. So a multiplier is a unit of risk. Now a multiplier, typically it's worth about $500 to the upside or downside, which is typically about, let's say with the 50K account, it's 1% of the account, so a 1 multiplier. So if you're on a 2 multiplier, you have $1,000 of exposure to the up or downside, a 3 to 1,500, and 4, 2,000. So essentially, instead of controlling how many instruments, what contracts, all you control is the multiplier, so it's very simple. So the multiplier makes risk management just one click, a little dial, a little volume knob, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's it. No picking stops, targets, contracts, instruments, when to trade, what to trade, how to trade. The bot does all of that for you. So all you have to do is say, okay, I want a 1 multiplier, I have a 2 multiplier, a 3 multiplier, and you adjust that based on the account size and the risk management, the exposure that you want to take when trading. So let's say you have a 50K account, you want to risk typically 1% per day. You want a 1 multiplier. On a 100K, you want a 2, 150, a 3, a 200, a 4, and so on, right? And once you get a certain amount of a buffer and a certain amount of profit, you can just add and increase that accordingly. So what used to be a very complex thing with the chart-based bots, where you choose the instruments, the contracts, the filters, you control all the dials and all the parameters, and turn it on, it's fully auto once you press go. This bot is fully auto, just right out of the package, right out of the box. You just pick the multiplier, the account, and the system, and it starts trading right away.
And explain to them, how important is that to adjust risk? Because as you're applying more, as you're trading with more money, explain why it's so important to adjust your risk while you're doing that.
Yeah, well, the main thing is risk management is why most traders don't make it. Most traders make a bunch of money one day, give it all back the next day because they don't know how to manage risk. Mainly they over-leverage. They have small accounts and they bet too big, and they rely on luck. When you over-leverage, you ruin your edge. Whatever edge you had is gone when you over-leverage. So with the RipperOne AI Prop Edition and the multiplier system, the multiplier is basically a $500 block of risk. It means it cannot go down more than 500, but it can go up 500 plus. So there's no limit to the upside, just to the downside. So you know what your maximum exposure is you turn the bot on. Now, within that $500 block of risk, the bot can trade a lot of different instruments and all simultaneously. So it can trade the NQ, the ES, the MNQ or MES, or CL or GC, YM, whatever. It will pick what to trade wherever the opportunity is. So if the NQ is running, it will trade that. If gold's running, it trades that. If oil's running, it will trade that. So it will strike wherever the opportunity lies without you have to sit there and say, okay, do I want to trade the NQ today? Do I want to trade oil today? Do I want to trade Bitcoin today? It doesn't really matter. Wherever the opportunity is, the bot will strike. So it's going to put you in the position to make the most money possible with the lowest amount of risk. So instead of deciding what to trade, how many contracts to trade, all of these difficult decisions for new traders, the bot does all of that for you. So it's all built in.
Right, and we developed the new application that drives our Chartless now. It's our new mobile application, and Brian, walk them through that. Why did we come up with that? So it kind of explained the importance of that.
Yeah, so the mobile app was built because once the bot's installed on our VPS and configured, there's pretty much nothing left for the user to do other than monitor the P&L, make sure the bot's connected. They have data connection, obviously. And then, obviously, to adjust the account, adjust the multiplier, or adjust the system the bot's using. So all of the things needed to be able to access are accessible via the app. So instead of having to log into your VPS and change the property on your computer and see what the bot's doing, you can now just check on your Apple or Android, wherever you're at in the world, anytime, any place, anywhere. Look up your P&L, check live what's going on, make sure the bot's connected. You can switch what account or what system is being used on which instance of the bot. So basically, the bot allows you to control like it's like a TV remote. Like the bot's the TV and the app is the remote. It's that simple. So instead of making it complicated, we have to go on your computer and log in and see what's going on with your bot when you get home at night. Just look like you're at work or doing whatever you're doing. You could be traveling. Just check your bot out, check how much money you're making. and keep an eye on it like that. So it's very simple, and if it ever goes down, the app will tell you, and you can go back in your VPS and reestablish the connection. So yeah, the next thing I want to talk about is the systems. So, and this is something I really want to elaborate on. And
This is definitely really important.
yeah, people ask all the time,
Right.
what system should I use? Which one's the best?
Or the other one is, I spoke with about 6 people today, 5 or 6 people, and it's the same conversation. Let's talk about, it's not just a one singular bot. It's not just a singular system. Let's talk about what makes it actually really special, the secret sauce, which is the networking capabilities.
Yeah.
So let's go into that.
Okay. So first, I want to talk about the different feeds just real quick. So there's a scalp, a trend, and mean reversion. So there's multiple different systems that you can all run concurrently on multiple accounts. You can spread the risk around. So the scalping system will trade short, quick swings. The trend bot will go after intraday big swings, and then the mean reversion will obviously fade trends and bet on the price going back to the average. So all these systems are running simultaneously. And then what Dan was talking about here, where what makes this bot really special, and this is what nobody else in the industry is doing. This is what makes our products so revolutionary and so it's just bleeding edge tech. So essentially, the bot resides half on your computer and half on our computer. And what I mean by that is that all the executions occur locally on your machine. So your bot's running just like a chart-based bot, but obviously the risk management is all dialed in and reduced down to one button, one setting. But throughout the day, your bot will receive communications from our data center. So, for example, the machine learning components, the news filters, the trend filters, a lot of proprietary, secret sauce stuff that's very sensitive and had thousands of hours of R&D. The really proprietary stuff that's on our servers, so it cannot be compromised. And throughout the session, your bot will get updates from our servers and actually change the bar size, stops, targets, the filters. All this stuff will adjust dynamically as the session unfolds, without you having to make adjustments. So as most of you know, when you buy a bot, there's no such thing as set and forget. That's fantasy land. That's not the real life. That's not the real world. So there's set and maintain. But the question is, who's doing the maintenance, you or us? So if you buy a chart-based bot, you're controlling the instruments, you're controlling the stops and targets. Let's say you want to trade the NQ, you want to trade the open. You run your typical 25 bar with 20 tick, target 1, 40 tick, target 2, whatever. You run your defaults, you make decent money, but you configured it for the open. So if you run those same settings on the overnight session, it's going to not be volatile enough for that to be viable. So you have to change the settings for the time of day or what instrument you're using. So you have to do the adjustments yourself. Now it's not a lot of work. It's not very hard. You can do it in a few minutes a day, but it still requires you to take the time out of your day to do the settings configuration. Whereas with Chartless, we're doing that. Our servers are constantly updating your bot, sending its signals not for trades, but for instructions on how to adjust its settings internally so that it makes better trades throughout the session. So essentially, we're doing the adjustments, not you, with the Chartless. And that's what makes it so special, because you can't mess it up. A lot of traders, if they're new, they don't know how to manage risk. They'll trade. They may have good intentions, but they'll trade too many contracts or only one instrument at a time. And that's not good risk management. The Chartless, within one multiplier, can trade 5 or 6 instruments simultaneously, all with adjustable dynamic stops and targets, all self-hedging, all built in, all running a cohesive network all in one with the click of a button. All you do is pick the system, the multiplier, and turn it on. That's it. You're done.
And inherently, I would say 95% of the issues of traders is risk, running way too tight stops.
Yeah,
it's just a problem. So we're doing all that for you. So when you go to trade a mean reversion, Brian. So I was asked today, which one do you recommend? And this is always a question, right? Everyone's always afraid of.
Yeah, they always think that there's one
better than the other. And obviously when Brian was just talking about networking and hedging, when you're using a multitude of strategies like the scalp, like the trend, like the mini reversion, obviously that's going to be the better way to go, just because it's hedging appropriately. Now, if you want to go with the mean reversion with the scalp, they all do very, very well. Just understand, from my perspective, the more money that I'm going to apply to the market, the more that I would like to reduce risk. And by reducing risk would be applying all 3 of our strategies simultaneously.
Yeah, in the future there'll be more. So right now we have scalp to mean reversion. There's several more in development. Those will be released, and when they are, obviously they'll become available on the bot on your VPS. So yeah, that's basically it. It boils down to who wants to manage the risk, right? If you want to do it, you want to do the adjustments yourself, run the chart based, you have more freedom there, you have more flexibility, but it requires a bit more of your time to do the maintenance. You can, if you're just going to attack the open, you can just run the same settings for a long period of time. But if you want to run the NQ, the ES, CLGC all at the same time, you have to do different bar sizes, different stops and targets, and run different settings for different time windows throughout the session. Whereas with the Chartless, this is all done for you. It's all automatic. So it just links to our servers. If gold's moving, it will trade gold. If oil's moving, it will trade oil. If the NQ's flying, it will trade the NQ. And if volatility consolidates, it'll just stay out of the market. And it will, obviously, if it's going to take trades, it will adjust. So the main thing is you're basically tapped into our top of the line filters, our best proprietary stuff. You're tapped right into it. You get updates throughout the session. Like I said before, we have machine learning AI based components in there that are constantly adjusting to ranges as session unfolds, relaying the transmission to your bot. We've got news events that happen, like for example, like Fed beans or whatever. It will know this is coming. It will keep you out of that turbulence, or it will adjust its behavior to take advantage of that movement, of that volatility. So it's going to constantly adapt. Like if you were to have a professional trader watching over you, that's what it's like. It's like having a professional trader watching over your account, but we have a network of filters and machines doing it, and it keeps you, in line with the market, keeps you on the right side, and keeps you profitable. So as long as you run the appropriate multiplier for the account size that you have, which we give you that recommendation when you purchase the bot, you can't mess it up. It's really that simple. So for those of you that are concerned with, I keep blowing my evals, I keep having big winning days and big losing days, can never make a consistent run at it, that's because you're not managing risk correctly. So if you're tired of that, risk management rat race and trying to make that work while having your full-time job running your business, just skip all of that. Use technology. The future's here. The time is now. And we've built this product for that exact purpose. Most of our busy professionals and new traders alike just harness the power of the Chartless and let us manage risk for you with the multiplier system.
To talk to Brian or myself, go to TruTrade.io, click the Let's Get Started button, and let's have a conversation. Take care, guys.